Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and I hope you are ready because today's movie recommendations list dives us headfirst into the forbidden vault of the unrated, the uncensored, and banned movies that I highly recommend. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. Alright, so we're talking about infamous, unrated, uncensored, and banned movies here, and in some cases, most cases on this list, we're talking about films that were also classified as the infamous video nasties. They were outright banned, and in some cases, not even released to this day, but they are some of the most jaw-dropping cult classics you will ever see, from sleazy to scary to exploitation and everything in between. This list has it all, so let's jump right into it with one that might surprise you. So let's start with the one that is kind of shocking to a lot of people. We're talking 1981's The Evil Dead by Sam Raimi. This was low budget, ultra violent, and absolutely relentless, gritty, just kind of go for it, and that's why we love it. You have 5 friends that go to a cabin in the woods, always the good start for a horror film, and unleash a demonic force that possesses, dismembers, and violates everything in its path. We have possessed trees, projectile bile, limbs flying. We've got Bruce Campbell's performance as Ash, which goes from mild-mannered to manic as the Deadites take hold. This thing caused the UK censors and a lot of other people to kind of lose their minds. Yes, it's gory and kind of grindhouse, but it's also a kind of a gleeful DIY horror at its finest. It's dangerous and unfiltered in the way that caused the British censors to allow it to play at the cinema uncut, but when it came to home video, it had 2 minutes cut, and it was finally restored in 2001. So it took, 20 years before this thing was released in its uncut version. It is not for the faint of heart, but it is an absolute blast. The Evil Dead checking in on this list at number 10. Next up on the list is one from 1980 that is kind of an infamous video nasty and just a crazy film. I'm talking 1980's Night of the Demon. Now you notice how I said crazy and not great. So these films I recommend for the experience of watching them. I'm not saying they're the best films you're ever going to see, but this one is not classy. It is kind of, if the Bigfoot were not only a giant evil crazed cryptid, but he was aggressive, sexually aggressive, and absolutely crazy. It's part cryptid horror, part grindhouse, part revenge flick, and it gets very, very weird. The plot is about a professor and his students who investigate a series of gruesome murders in the woods. What they find is Bigfoot, but not like the friendly kind from Harry and the Hendersons. This is the kind that rips off arms, gouges faces, rips off other things, let's just say that, all in his quest to mate. It's pretty nasty. I can understand this one being a video nasty. There is the one infamous scene that I referenced where a biker has to go to the bathroom, and let's just say he doesn't come out intact. It is nasty. It's ridiculous. It's very shameless. I mean, they use sex scene sounds are reused for a kill scene for the same couple. It's kind of disturbing, so naturally it makes a list like this, and it made the video nasties list. If you like your monster movies with a side of grindhouse, crazy gore, and sleaze, this one is for you. Night of the Demons. Proceed with caution. Now the next one on the list is considered an absolute classic by some. We're talking 1971's A Clockwork Orange. Now this is Stanley Kubrick's film, and it wasn't just banned. He personally pulled it from the UK release after threats and protest, and it was not released in the UK again until 1999 after he passed. This is based on a novel, and it follows a teenage sociopath with a love of Beethoven and ultra violence. There is assault, let's just say it like that, murder, mind control, high fashion, and it's all blended into this kind of dystopian nightmare set to classical music. It's seductive, but it's also repulsive in equal measure. It's very subversive, which that's what Kubrick was about. But it is also very graphic. Like, there is tons of nudity in here, and the crime and the assaults are very, very disturbing to watch in a lot of ways. Alex, the main character, isn't a hero, but the government that tries to fix him may be worse. This film remains controversial to this day for a good reason. It's impossible to ignore and impossible to forget once you watch it. It is a true video nasty that maybe didn't quite get that label because Stanley Kubrick pulled it. But in the minds of many, it belongs on that list. It definitely belongs on this list. If you haven't seen A Clockwork Orange, much like the others on this list, proceed with caution. All right, next up on the list is someone who is notorious for gore-filled, just over-the-top, go-for-it movies. We're talking Lucio Fulci, and we're talking 1981's The Beyond. This is his surrealist sort of masterpiece of films. It is supernatural horror. It is blood and heavy graphic practical effects soaked. It is dreamlike. It is unhinged. It follows a woman who inherits a crumbling Louisiana hotel that just so happens to be built over one of what Fulci identifies as the 7 gates of hell, as this is part of the Gates of Hell trilogy, and you might not have heard from the last of that on this list. I'll just say that. But what follows is a descent into an eyeball gouging, yes, the thing about eyes, an eyeball gouging, tarantula attack filled, acid kill, meltdown, reanimated corpses, crazy score. Fulci does not care about plot. You can even hear the actors that did a commentary on it for the physical media release say he doesn't know anything about plot. He's all about crafting vibes. And the vibe here is, it's over the top. It is exploitive, and you may not get out alive. The ending is maybe one of the bleakest of all of his films, especially the final shot. That one kind of goes down in horror history. But it's not just a gore fest. It's like a cursed painting came to life. And in the UK, it was way too much for the censors. It was a video nasty for sure. It was not released uncut until 2001. But the uncut version is like an Italian fever dream that you will never get out of your brain. The Beyond comes in on this list at number 7. At number 6 is one that I really do recommend. I like this film. I own most of these films, if I'm being honest. But we're going with 1973's Flesh for Frankenstein. Also known as Andy Warhol's Frankenstein, though it was directed by Paul Morrissey. Andy Warhol kind of bankrolled Paul Morrissey a lot. This thing is a pure descent into Euro horror with a heaping double, triple helping of sleaze. I mean, the sleaze is all there. You're talking flesh in the title, so you know it's coming. There was so much sleaze and flesh in Flesh for Frankenstein, as a matter of fact, that this film was actually one of the video nasties that was prosecuted in the UK, and it was not released in its uncut full version until 2006. In this one, Udo Kier stars as Baron Frankenstein, who's obsessed with creating the perfect male and female specimen, and let's just say his goals are not scientific with that. Necrophilia, I mean, it's out there. It's got like kind of an orgasmic nature to some of the surgery scenes in this that are kind of disturbing. It's got crazy lines in it like, "To know death, Otto, you have to fuck life in the gallbladder." Oh yeah, that's in there. But it is that just gives you a taste. That just gives you a taste. It's gory. It's also kind of gorgeous to look at. It has a lot of kind of sexual perversion in this thing. You see Frankenstein through the lens of a like sleazy midnight madness, and it was just way too much for censors. There's even a 3D version of this that kind of kicks it over the top. Flesh for Frankenstein is absolutely crazy. Classic, and I love Udo Kier, so I still recommend you check this one out. Just again, be cautious. All right, so another one that is kind of a surprise on this list, and this is a very high recommend. This is a great horror film. We're talking 1981's The Burning, and this is a summer camp slasher that is pretty intense. It has a very famous scene in it, but none of that mattered to the UK censors because this was another film that was actually prosecuted in the UK, and it wasn't released uncut there until 2001. But this was actually, kind of before Jason. There was Cropsey, and he was a former camp caretaker who was burned alive by prank-happy kids, and he comes back swinging garden shear style vengeance. So what set The Burning apart was the level of gore in here, handled by the gore master Tom Savini himself. And the one scene that I mentioned earlier is a legendary raft kill scene that still holds up today. Just over the top kills in this thing. You add in an early performance by Jason Alexander. Yes, it is George Costanza, and a very sleazy produced film. You got a good slice of slasher history here. It's brutal. It's mean. It has all of those practical effects and blood from Savini, and it hit the nasties list for exactly those reasons. But it is a great summertime slasher, one of my favorites to watch around summertime. You have to check out The Burning. Next up on the list is one that I think a lot of people are going to realize as soon as I say it that, yeah, this one belonged on the Video Nasty list. This one belonged on a lot of banned lists. It's very hard to watch. 1978's I Spit on Your Grave. This one is the one that kind of broke critics. It broke censors and viewers all wide open. Like, this is a very hard film for me to watch to this day, but I believe it's one that you should watch at least once to experience, as it tells the story of a woman who is brutally assaulted by a group of men, and then she systematically hunts them down and exacts a very cold, calculated, and brutal revenge. It is very exploitative, yes it is, but it also is kind of got some patience and some slow burn to it in some ways that kind of makes it more unflinching and more intense. The first half of the movie is very horrifying, and the second is righteous fury. I mean, there's no doubt that people like Tarantino were inspired by this film when you think of things like Kill Bill and stuff like that. But the film kind of forces you to sit with the violence, to feel it and not just see it. It doesn't cut away a lot like you would normally get, and that kind of added to some of the controversy that made it get banned in multiple countries and pulled from a lot of shelves, and whether or not it should be out there is still debated today, and it's still not available in every country throughout the world. It's a raw nerve of a film. It's ugly to look at. It's angry, and it is very unforgiving. All of that is in here. It is exploitation at the top of its game. I Spit on Your Grave comes in at number 4. Now, next up on this list, I promise you we had not heard the last of Lucio Fulci, and here he is again with one that hit the censors harder than The Beyond even did. This is 1981's The House by the Cemetery. This is another one that's part of the Gates of Hell unofficial trilogy here. This one's crawling with rot and gore as a family moves into a creepy old house in New England, which is never a good idea, only to discover something evil, scary, and hungry lurking in their basement. That something is Dr. Freudstein, who is a decomposing madman kept alive by harvesting body parts from his victims. The film is super gory. It is typical Fulci surrealism throughout the thing. It is packed with all those Fulci zoom ins and pull outs that kind of add to the thing. Lots of the zoom ins on the terrified eyes. He's very into that. You've got glistening innards, lots of gore here. There's also a creepy little kid named Bob that has a bizarre voiceover that is very creepy and off-putting and just odd. It is one that was very easy for the Brits to say, nah, that's a nasty. And honestly, it still is pretty nasty. But I mean, in the best way, if you like movies like this, I like haunted house movies. So maybe this one kind of pushes up a little bit for the Fulci list to me, even though overall I'm not the biggest Fulci guy. I do recommend these movies to check out at least once for the experience. This is a haunted house movie that's more of like a gross autopsy. So much so it was not released uncut in the UK until 2009. Check out The House by the Cemetery. Now the next one on this list, coming in, I guess, officially at number 2, might be one of the most down low, twisted movies I have ever seen, and it goes by 2 different titles. We're talking 1981's Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker, also known as Night Warning, which kind of doesn't make any sense. This one is more psychologically just sort of disturbing and over the top than it is splatter, though there is gore in this film. A teenage boy named Billy lives with his aunt after his parents have passed away. She's possessive, she's overbearing, and she is played to the hilt by Susan Tyrrell. This actress went for it all in this movie. She kind of has a madness that's developed from a inappropriate obsession with her nephew. Let's just say that. And she has a very, very bad temper and is very unstable. You add into that a finale that just goes completely unhinged. And you get what a lot of people consider a cult gem horror film. You even get a very early appearance by Bill Paxton in this movie. This thing is all tangled up in crazy sexuality, maternal horror, and a sweaty intensity. Everybody just seems like it's just like one of those sweaty kind, almost wants to be a grindhouse movie, almost wants to be a slasher, almost wants to be a psychological thriller, and it kind of mixes them all together. And that ended up being too weird and too messed up for a lot of the mainstream. And to this day, this one still does not have a release uncut in the UK. So there you go. It kind of rules for that. But Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker, aka Night Warning, comes in at number 2. Here we are at number 1, and there is no question what is number 1. There can only be one choice here. 1975's Elsa, She-Wolf of the SS. This is the nastiest of the nastiest. This one has been banned in the UK since it came out in 1975, but the UK is not alone. This one has been banned in many places throughout the world. It was finally got some traction in a cut version, and it's only been recently that we've gotten uncut version of this movie because it goes there in every single way. It is a famous World War II exploitation shocker that became its own legend. We're getting a 4K of this coming very soon from Kino Lorber, the uncut version. That tells you where we are now, and I say you gotta check that out. Of course, I'll let you know where you can watch all of these movies. But Elsa is a commandant of a World War II prison camp, and she conducts brutal and often very sexualized experiments on her prisoners, all in the name of proving women can endure more pain than men. And she kind of uses the men in this camp, and if they can't make her happy, let's just say that, then off with some of their more prized body parts, or torture them more. So that's where you're going, and it doesn't shy away from showing any of that in the movie. This one is wall-to-wall torture, nudity, domination. It is sleazy, it is offensive, and yes, it was banned pretty much everywhere, but it also kickstarted the entire subgenre of these type of exploitation movies and launched the career of Diane Thorne into cult stardom. And if you ever watch it, do so with that context, to just know, because this is exploitation in its purest, rawest, most exploitive form right here. And Elsa, the she-wolf of the SS, takes no prisoners at all. Thorne is a cult star. Because of this, it spawned sequels, and this one is the one that started it all. Elsa, the she-wolf of the SS from 1975, the unquestioned #1 nastiest of all nasties, and a very high recommend. And there you have it, 10 of the wildest, the weirdest, and most banned movies ever slapped on a VHS. And some were censored for violence, some for nudity, some for sex, some for just twisted content. But love them or hate them, they change cinema and they still pack a punch. Film is supposed to make you feel all kinds of things. These might have left you feeling like you needed a shower, but hey, enjoy the ride of getting sweaty. But that's what I got for you. So till next time, keep it video nasty. These movies are not for the faint of heart, but they are a hell of a ride. And if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. If you enjoy what we do here and you want to help support the channel, you can join at my Patreon link below. Get your name and lights on every single video, behind the scenes looks at my filmmaking, and so much more. And everything goes right back here into the channel. I will link where you can find these on physical media. The links, if you use those, it helps out the channel. And if you can find them on streaming, if you want to try before you buy. But that's what I got for you. And until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. Bye now.